The Working Artist Project is brought to you by Second Line Arts Collective. Learn how you can support at secondlinearts.org.
We're creating a platform for those who are curious, one that tells the story from the artist's perspective. Moments in time, captured from the innovators who are reshaping dance, music, theater, and the visual arts. This is the Working Artist Project.
What's up, everybody? Good evening. It's your girl, JB, and we are waiting for, hey, there you are.
Yo, what's up?
How are you? Can you hear me?
I am good. How you doing?
I'm good.
So anyway, tonight we have a very special guest, Miss Alexa. And listen, y'all, I don't want to mess her name up, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna take a shot. You know how to pronounce it?
I mean, I'm assuming it's Alexa Barchini.
Ah, okay,
because
Barchini.
It's not Italian.
It's not Italian. Italian get the ch.
Exactly.
You see, I'm from Mississippi, so I don't really. I'm not with it. I don't really know how to pronounce nothing other than cornbread.
Somebody's gonna be mad at you if they hear you say that. I don't know who, but somebody's gonna be like, you know how to pronounce more than that.
Nah,
Don't
just
be doing
cornbread.
Mississippi like that.
If your last name ain't Williams, hey, I might mess it up. But anyway, yeah, Jeanette, it's good to see you. How you been?
Too. I'm good. I cannot complain. Happy to be here again.
Absolutely. So for all our listeners, y'all know Jeanette. She was with me for about a month, a month ago or something like that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So Greg is on tour with Michael Bublé or Blue. How you say his name? See, Boo. That's my wife was like, stop mispronouncing that man's name.
It's not Bublé, it's Bublé.
Bublé is real. It's like bubbly.
It is like Michael Bublé.
He on tour with Michael Bublé, and they on the road doing the thing. So I got Jeanette with me tonight, and I'm happy to have you, and I'm excited. And our special guest, Miss Alexa, is with us tonight to talk about her up and coming record, what it's like to be a side person, and how creativity and all the wonderful things work in the world of music. She's a wonderful vocalist that hails from Connecticut. And it's funny because Jeanette, the two of you,
tri-state area. Oh shoot!
Right? the two of you guys almost met each other in Philly, right. but
I left. She came right up Broad Street. Excuse me. I was on South Broad. She was on North Broad. That's how it happens.
There you go. So, but without further ado, y'all, why don't we welcome the one and only Alexa Barchini? What's up, Alexa?
Did we get it right? Did we get
it right? Barchini, okay. Yeah.
Yo, I'm panicking. I was like, oh no.
Yeah,
I did not ask.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard it mutilated so many times. I'm not phased anymore. But yeah, it doesn't look like what it sounds like. So
yeah. Cool.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, why don't we start right at your heritage? I like that because I ignorantly assumed that you were Italian.
Yeah, most people do.
Yeah.
I have that vague Mediterranean look about me. so we go there. But yeah, my dad is from Lebanon. He was born and raised there and came here in the 80s. And my mom is Canadian, but by way of Greece. Her parents are both from Greece.
Cool.
Cool.
So I think the Greek American, Lebanese American identity was real strong growing up, and now too, for sure.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did it like affect your music in any way, or does it inform your music now?
Yeah, well, I think in a pretty big way. Like my dad, for instance, he grew up in a monastery in Lebanon. He was in boarding school there, and he wanted to be a priest for a long time, like an Orthodox monastery.
Wow.
Yeah, so he has one of those really deep, I don't know if you've heard Byzantine music before, but really deep, macho but elegant and beautiful voices. very powerful. And he breaks it out at Easter every year to sing.
You have to.
Uh-huh.
You
Yeah.
have
Right.
to.
And I don't know if you've ever been to Greek Easter, but it's a very serious affair. It's like,
Oh,
yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but so there was that. That was like part of the tapestry, you know, growing up was this like very spiritual music, but rooted in like really old and really like dark textures, weird tonalities and tones. And then on the other side, my mom actually, the Greek music was definitely flowing through our house, and you know we listened to a lot of it and went to a lot of Greek dances and stuff. But the big one was my mom is actually an opera singer. She like grew up singing and went to school for singing, and so that was a big part of my life and is a big part of my life. Is just like talking to her about singing and thinking about singing and
oh wow.
That's beautiful.
actually singing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. We used to, when I was a kid, well, we had the same voice teacher growing up, which was kind of hilarious. And also very much like this for a long time.
I bet.
Yeah. But yeah, we used to like, you know, sing bel canto arios around the house and just
Love it.
go at it. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but the cultural thing was pretty influential, I'd say, in just like, I don't know, forming an identity and like your values and how you think about the world and about music and about people. And yeah, I don't know if you get, obviously there's different levels of this and different experiences of it, but like the idea of family is so important when you're an immigrant in this country. And like yeah, I think there's good and bad to that on both sides. But mostly good, you know, like having everyone's hands in the pot and always feeling supported,
Yeah.
but also needing to flesh out my own identity and my
Absolutely.
own place
Oh,
in the
yeah.
world, you know.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Do
I don't know.
you?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh
Jeanette,
no,
go
go.
ahead.
I was gonna say.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, singing with your mom, and now being an adult and having a different style than opera. You know what I mean? How does that, you know, as a singer, how do you carry that into your style as a person, as a person now and as a writer?
Yeah, I think it manifests in a lot of ways. There's like the day-to-day of it where I find so much joy in the physicality of singing and of like the exercise of singing. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely. That's
And
the
I feel
biggest
like
thing.
a crazy person about it sometimes because like I think I spend so much time just vocalizing and singing like scales and exercises and patterns, but it feels so good.
Singing is, and I tell my students and singers this all the time, the actual physical act of singing is what brings me the most joy. Like it's not what I'm singing, it is literally physically singing.
Yeah.
Is
I
what
think we're
brings me
lucky
so
though
much joy.
to have that. Like I feel like that means that you had, at least for me, like I had some foundational experiences of like just really like feeling good and having good teachers who showed me like how to use my instrument and doing it in a playful and almost athletic way.
Yeah. Yes.
That yeah, I can't keep up with it necessarily the same way that I did as a young person, mostly because like when I was younger my voice was a lot higher. I don't know if you had that as well.
Yeah.
But like I was singing all the way at the end of the keyboard, like high G's and B
Wow.
flats and stuff. And it was just like, no one needs that in a career in jazz music.
Right.
Like,
Right.
let's be honest, most of the music I sing is like a lot lower. So,
You know, but that's such a shame. And I'll go back to Darrian at some point. But like
Yeah.
as a singer, it's such a shame that, especially in jazz, which is why I like more melodic tunes, because sometimes they just stay in one place. And as a vocalist, it's just like, yes, this is why I like to scat, because I can go up and down my range, but y'all aren't giving me anything in these
Yeah.
melodies. Come on. Like,
yeah, I mean, honestly, I struggle with that as a writer because I think where I write is mostly in a comfort zone space of like me and my piano or me and my guitar and just like pretty small and feeling it out mumble by mumble, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Mhm.
And that doesn't push me to different parts of my voice because I feel like that takes a lot of confidence just to go up there.
Mm-hmm.
And in my writing brain, I'm like very in experimental, like vulnerable zone.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah. But
I
yeah, go
I
ahead.
was just gonna say, you guys. Yeah, the thing is, y'all sing with a lot of bad motherfuckers all day. If y'all was singing like at bar mitzvahs in fucking Kentucky somewhere, you might be
Yeah.
like, I don't know about this singing for the exercise thing. You might be like, I need to sing
Yeah.
with some bad motherfuckers. Like,
No, for sure.
it's an advantage because both of you guys are phenomenal singers, and honestly, I'm lucky. I'm big fans of both of y'all, and so I'm just curious, like, is it really the singing, or is it that you get to sing? You have the opportunity to sing with such wonderful musicians like me.
Like me. Nice.
I love that you did like me.
Yeah.
Which one is it?
Jeanette, you want to take that one?
Oh, well, I mean, I'll take the first answer and I will
Okay.
say maybe, but usually no.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I guess I have a similar answer. Like I don't like playing sad gigs. Like I don't I don't like playing with people who don't get it or like who don't respect it or like give space. But I also think there's just almost like a childlike joy in being able to sing high notes in my bedroom, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's addicting. I don't know what it is, but I
Feels
think
great.
that's what I got from my mom. Going back to that, like that's a inherited trait. But Jeanette, was that in your family at all, or are you just like you
Yes,
just had it?
my mother was a singer. My father's an instrumentalist. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it was.
My
just-
daddy was a singer, but it skipped me, luckily, because I would have used my powers for evil.
Oh, I
just
know
gonna be
you
honest.
would have. I know you would have. Oh
I
my
would've-
gosh.
I would have been on the corner. Ooh, yeah. Just like, what you saying?
You know, time's a wasting, man. You think you got to get on it.
I know I heard you sing a little bit at the top of this when we came on. You sang a little thing.
Oh, that's all I got. That's all I got. That's it.
Had a little tone there. Just-
Yeah. You probably just need to find your range. and
Oh,
then
yeah.
you can, you know?
Yeah, my range is shut the fuck up. That's my range. Like,
your
don't
range
ever
is play
say.
some drums. Is that what
Yeah.
your range is?
Just play the drums and shut up, dog. Like, stay in the back.
Oh man.
That's hilarious.
That's a good
Alexa,
one.
like, since we're talking about music, I have noticed you are. I don't know what you classify yourself as, but let's get into it because as I'm listening to your music and checking you out, it doesn't sound like you put yourself in a box. So, what is your music, and how do you deal with that?
Yeah, well, I think that part is like an ongoing conversation for me and something that's honestly difficult. I think it's like I'm not satisfied doing one thing. Like I get so much out of so many different things, and I've been really lucky to be able to play with a lot of other people playing their music. Like that brings me so much joy is to get to like drop in and do a lot of different stuff. I will say like I'm a jazz singer. Like that's my like core, and that's my like foundation of all of this stuff. And my favorite singers are from that canon and that world. But I also I guess I'm like a singer-songwriter as well. Like I have I think the most engaged I feel as far as like mind, body, and heart or whatever is when I'm writing and like figuring out those puzzles. And so there's that element too. But that makes it kind of hard to have a career, I think, because people want to know what you are, and I'm just like, well, I don't know, figure it out. I just listen to the
Yeah.
stuff. But yeah, I think that's like, you know, one of my struggles and my joys is like figuring out how to do all of the things. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I'll tell you something that Ellis Marcellus told me a
Mm-hmm.
long time ago. And you guys, I want to hear from both of y'all on this.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about singers and stuff. And I was like, yeah, man, you know, these jazz singers. He was like, you know, I don't think that there is a such thing as a jazz singer. And I think his exact words, I'm not sure, because that was his thing. I'm not sure, to make you think about it. I was like, damn, maybe he's right. But
Mm-hmm.
what do you think, like, since you just self-identify as I'm a jazz singer, like, does that even exist?
Ooh, scandalous question. I think it does and it doesn't. I mean, like, I guess the most direct definition I would say of a jazz singer is someone who's an interpreter of songs and like is rooted in that music and can deliver melody in a way that is, you know, nuanced and their own, if that makes sense. Obviously that's a pretty wide definition, and so you could fit a lot of people in there, but like, for instance, I think Joni Mitchell is a jazz singer. Like, if you listen to her singing and this is kind of, all of this stuff is, it's not really the way I think about music on a day-to-day basis, but yeah, I mean, like, when you listen to Joni sing, especially in her later years, like, that's jazz singing to me. And when you listen to Willie Nelson singing in his early years and later years, like, that's jazz singing to me too. I don't really know.
His rendition of "On the Sunny Side of the Street" with Tony Bennett is one of my favorite things ever to
really?
listen to. Yes,
I
because
haven't heard that one.
he just doesn't care. Like, there's a beauty in not caring, because he's just literally singing the song. And it's so Willie Nelson, and it's amazing. It's amazing.
It's the best.
To answer your question, Darrian, I think that's a good question. I tend to lean towards that there isn't a jazz singer, but there are singers who want to put on as a jazz singer. Like, I don't think, Alexa, listening to you, I don't think that you're like a jazz singer, right? I think what we have done is say that generally a woman in a pretty dress in front of a mic is a jazz singer, or a man in a hot suit with a hat is a jazz singer.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
and
that brings up the question, like, why are we using the word jazz at all? But
which is why I also don't think, I think the stereotype of what a jazz singer is exists, but I think more often than not, I like your definition, but for me, you know, I don't call I kind of identify a little bit like you. Like, I'm not a jazz singer. I sing jazz, but I'm a student and a whatever of putting on into the Black American music canon. Exactly. And that's all that matters.
Yeah, I guess there's this element of like maybe debt or gratitude that goes into it, of like, if I didn't have like Ella or Carmen, like if they weren't a part of my life, then who knows?
And you know, that's interesting because I listen to, so my favorite vocalists that sang jazz mostly are Blossom Dearie and Carmen McRae, and they couldn't be any different, right?
Yeah.
Like, and so people would listen to Blossom Dearie and be like, I don't really know if she's a jazz singer. I think she was, and she played the mess out of a piano and
oh my gosh,
made beautiful arrangements and like was very stylistic. And then you have Carmen
hilarious.
McRae, and hilarious.
She was amazing. There's some live
I'm so
records
upset
of her.
I didn't get to see her before she passed away.
I know.
Yeah. But then Carmen McRae is completely different. Heavy swing, storytelling, not giving a goddamn. Like, and that's what I love. But then if we're gonna go with that classification, Shaka Khan's a jazz singer, but she's not. But she, you know what I mean? So yeah.
I mean, I guess that I kind of feel like classification in any sense is arbitrary and like can be confusing and like almost like ego driven. Like, are we just trying to like say something because we want to say something, you know? But it is helpful to be like, yeah, I owe everything to like Black American music. Like
Yeah.
that is my heart and my passion and my road that I'm traveling. But yeah, I don't
I
know.
want to ask you a tricky question.
Okay.
Clear my throat. Yeah. Right.
Getting ready. Getting ready.
So dig this. Is it possible for music to be good without a vocalist, without a singer?
Oh, I think so.
No, it's not. Let's disagree.
Oh, come on. I love instrumental music. I think like well, good is kind of arbitrary. What do you mean
Yeah.
good?
I mean, like, isn't it just boring? It's like a bunch of dudes and women and and all in between just playing. It's like, look at me play my saxophone. No one cares. Like, like I need a vocalist up there every time.
That's hilarious.
Like, tell me a
That's
story
nice.
with words and melodies.
So I
Ag-
think more instrumentalists need to learn the words to songs.
That ain't gonna help them, Jeanette. Trust me.
I don't know. Yeah, I think it's a mindset, honestly. But I think making instrumental music with the mindset that you have, though, of like it needs to tell a story, can be really powerful.
Yeah.
Because some of this shit is
Yeah.
just sound.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
there
Looping.
has to be the like idea of an audience in mind, I guess. Like,
Yeah. But that's what I mean. Like,
how are
I
they
think
gonna receive it.
vocalists like you guys come up to the stage and you there's a way you look at the audience that is like, we are in this together. I love you. And right away you're like, oh man, I love this singer. Like, wow, she looked or he looked at me or whatever. And versus like a saxophone player comes,
Yeah.
and like they don't even talk to you on the mic, and then they like after the gig, you're like, good show, like, thank you, man, and just get a drink. They don't, versus like, have you noticed that? Like, if I came to your show, like, actually, I met you at a show for the first time about a
Yeah.
month ago. Like, you
Yeah.
were like, hey, what's up? And talk to me. If it was a saxophone player or something, they just like, oh, what's up, man? It's a certain kind of, it's an intimacy there.
energy.
Yeah. Talk about that. What is that? And let's get to that. You know?
Well, I feel like when you're a singer, it's like baptism by fire. Like when you're the front person and people are looking at you to read the words off of your mouth and like feel something, like if you don't deliver, it feels terrible. It feels very bad. And it's something I struggle with too, because I don't really feel like an entertainer as a person. Like I didn't pursue singing because I liked attention or like because I wanted people to look at me and hear what I had to say. I did it because I love singing and because I have a lot of feelings that I have to deal
Wow.
with.
Okay.
So, but with that in mind, like if you don't do it in some capacity, it feels like dead space or like, or at least that's how it registers for me. Like when I know the audience isn't vibing with what I'm saying, or like if I'm not connecting with them, I'm drained from like the downbeat. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, and I don't think that when you're behind an instrument, there's the same necessity of like connecting. So it's a matter of training, I guess. Yeah, but there's also something about just singing words that I think you don't have to try quite so hard for people to understand it and to feel it. Yeah, I don't know. But I think when people are playing on a high level instrumental music or vocal music, like people are gonna feel something, Like the good ones know what they're doing.
I'm gonna disagree. I've seen some bad motherfuckers here. Motherfuckers in the
Yeah.
audience sleep, and then the singer comes up and it's like, oh yeah, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna disagree on that one, I'm crazy though. Don't just ignore me. Just ignore me.
But I will say, like, I think musicians have to try harder. Like, there's a reason that everyone in the world thinks jazz music is lame or like it's boring. And there's a reason that singers feel left out a lot of the time too, because I think it's looked down upon, or at least in jazz education or in music school, like being a singer, you feel so like at baseline stupid. Like that was my experience. I don't know if UArts was the same way. And Temple was like great. Like as far as this stuff goes, like awesome female mentor and mentors, sorry, and like a really heavy singing program. But still, you're dealing with like 18-year-old boys coming from the suburbs who don't understand. Yeah, and so there's a lot of just like, and there's dealing with the same energy of just like wanting to show up and like be tough and all of that stuff. But yeah, I think there's some kind of weird priorities going on in music school and education where it's like, no, what's important is connecting and telling a story and like making music that's listenable and not necessarily like, you know, going really deep into something like muscly and athletic and like alienating to the listener. I don't know.
I call it man jazz, Jeanette. Don't nobody care
Yeah.
about it. Don't nobody
That's
care
Testosterone
about
jazz.
That's real. That's
Yeah.
real. It's
Yeah,
so
but
real.
there's a difference too between like athletic music and like testosterone music. You know, I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Because testosterone music does not have to be what's the word? Complex.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, hitting you in the face with whatever they want to hit
Yeah.
you in the face with.
Also, like testosterone is a great thing. Like I love the elements that it brings to music. And like I also feel a lot of the time like a teenage boy. So
it. Watch out.
yeah. So I'm not saying that as like a, you know, panning male behavior or
Right.
you know, it's just like maybe embracing both worlds. Yin yang.
Don't worry.
There was a video going around on Instagram. Terrence Blanchard was being interviewed by somebody, and he was talking about, I think he was talking about Wayne Shorter. And he was talking about how brilliant he was because he didn't make the list. It's not that he didn't have the skill to play at a higher level, but he came down to what the listener could ingest. It was something to that effect.
Yeah.
And that he is brilliant at actually creating music that people want to listen to and
Oh,
not
man, yeah.
just you know, heady with, and there's nothing wrong with it. Like we said, I believe there needs to be balance. I think that there can't be heady music without not as heady music. I believe that there can't be just vocal music, because if I hear like, and this is going, I think, the complete opposite way, but if like I hear a bad vocal jazz group again, I might cry. Like I don't think it should be in a jazz education. I think it's stupid. Kind of. That's not true. I love singing in a vocal jazz group, but I would not pay to listen to a whole show of it. No shots at anybody
But, like,
that's watching. But it's like it's a balance. But that exists because it is listenable in a lot of sense. And I mean, I swear to God, I love singing like all the, oh gosh, who's that arranger? I don't remember, but like all the There Will Never Be Another Use with the scat solis. Like it was a really great moment in college to be able to sing that.
yeah.
But I don't want to go to the blue note and hear do a do a ba da da ba de way ah. Like I don't want to do that. It was a great tool to learn,
Yeah.
but
I'm
and
gonna
I
just
think
drop.
that's the thing.
I'm gonna just drop this right here for you,
Whoa.
because Jeanette she not fucking around tonight, y'all. She
No.
just said that vocal jazz sucks. Just for all the vocal jazz, I didn't say that. Jeanette Barry said that. Don't write me an email.
I said
That
vocal
wasn't.
jazz groups. I said vocal jazz
God.
groups. I said vocal jazz groups.
Don't
Of which I
write me
know
an
a lot.
email.
Of which I know a lot too. Like I am like throwing shade on like my bread and butter, like not bread and butter, but
I didn't get into vocal jazz in high school. I auditioned and they were like, nah.
They rejected you. Wow, that's
And
crazy.
Yeah, and then that year I got into the jazz band and I was like, well, F you guys, I'm going
Right.
to jazz band.
which is good, which is a good thing.
Yeah, it was actually it was great. My band director in high school was the shit.
That's
That's
awesome.
I think this is a really good time for us to listen to some of your music.
I
Oh, sure.
agree.
And because we need to restart. I'm about to get about 30,000 emails right now. I already know, man. This is crazy.
It was all me, y'all. It was all me.
Fired.
I can't remember the name of this song, Alexa, that we're gonna play.
The video or the other one?
The video.
Okay, the video, it's called We'll See.
We'll see.
And it's me and my duo partner, Jackson Fitzgerald.
Beautiful.
Great
So
name.
y'all, yeah, man.
yeah.
Jackson Fitzgerald, is he a politician? He sounds like
He
you know.
does sound like one, right? No, No,
Okay.
definitely not. But this is a song that he wrote.
All right, y'all. Check this out. We'll see.
It's make believe or meant to be. We'll see.
Yo, that's crazy.
Oh my
That like,
gosh.
you know what I mean? Like I just hugged myself over here. You know,
Right.
I'm in here by myself, y'all. But that's so beautiful, man. Wow.
Thank you.
So what's the story behind that? We'll see. What are we waiting to see?
Yeah, that's a good question. So Jackson and I started playing together probably in 2017 or so, and we were both like somewhat fresh off the boat. Like we were new to New York and kind of broke and and depressed. And it was like the first time I felt like super connected to somebody musically. Like we got together and played all the time and developed like a set of repertoire that just like felt awesome. And Jackson was writing a lot of songs at the time, that one included. And he actually recorded most of that music and is releasing it in the next couple months, actually. So keep an eye out.
That's awesome.
Yeah, his first record. But yeah, I think I really gravitated to his playing because we have a lot of similar influences of like improvised music, but also like Americana and Brazilian music too. Like that song he wrote after listening to a lot of Ginga, if you know the artist Ginga. Just like really beautiful, like nylon string counterpoint and like amazing melodies. And I really love that style of singing. Like João Gilberto is one of my favorite singers of all time. Just like, yeah, I think I learned like more about phrasing than from him than like almost anyone else. And also just like the syllables and the textures of that music really resonate with me and feel like home. So yeah, we made a lot of music together. We just played actually on Friday.
Nice.
And that was great. Yeah, but that song is part of our set and goes into another tune of ours that's on the interwebs too. But yeah.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
I'm intrigued mainly because we have a lot of similarities and I'm only meeting you now. But I'm intrigued to hear you talk about what it means to sing and play other people's music, but also how it influenced you and if you found more confidence and more of yourself in that space.
Yeah, a ton, I think. Yeah, I always struggled with writing music, but writing lyrics was like my bread and butter, especially as a younger person. Like that was my first thing was writing lyrics for other people's music, and it was a really great way for me to express myself and like be creative in a way that felt like good, and also get to just like dive into other like composers' visions. Um, yeah, I feel like so lucky to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And that people keep asking me to write lyrics for them because I really love it. But yeah, one of the first people I did that with was Julian Shore, who's a piano player here in New York. We met when I was like 15 or something. I was at
nice.
Litchfield Jazz Camp, if you know
Yeah.
the camp. And I think like one of my first recording sessions was with him playing like some of my lyrics that I wrote to his music. And yeah, I think there's so much, and then I went on to do that with several other bands. I think there's so much freedom in playing other people's music, especially if you have a good band leader, like Willem Delisfort, for instance. He's just like the ultimate. You want to be on his team no matter what, you know, like because he brings out the best in everybody, and he's always encouraging you to do what you hear, and to be the most like adventurous like person you can be, you know. And so there's a lot of safety there of like trying things out without feeling like it's the biggest statement on who you are as an artist and like what you're putting out in the world. Yeah, I've been lucky to do that with a lot of bands where it's like new music and like a lot of improvising. And then I also do get to play in these like swing bands. I don't know if you guys know that about me, but
Oh, cool.
yeah, I have one of my really dear friends who's also a Temple grad, Danny Giannacucci. I play in his bands, and we do a lot of music for dancers. Yeah, and that in the beginning I was like, what is this? I don't understand. Who are these people and what are they doing? And like, I'm just gonna sing like Billie Holiday because that's what I was into at the time. And I learned a lot about like how to engage with dancers and like try on that hat of like really singing in the pocket, which was super new to me. And yeah, I've just learned so much and so many different facets of my instrument and how I can use it, and that's been really great. But I think the lyric writing and being in bands that encouraged me to try things like I really savor that, and I need that.
Yeah.
Because when I'm a band leader or trying to put my own project together, I can tend to be more on the like reserve side, I would say, which is hard. That's like the opposite of what you need to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's like my foundational, like, okay, these are the good experiences is when I'm like playing other people's music and feeling like my most charismatic and engaged. So, you know what I mean?
One thing I like that you said, or I want to kind of talk about, is how personal it is for you to play music with someone, because you mentioned when, you know, with your guitar player, that was the first person you felt a connection with. And people who don't live in New York may not know this, but it's 9 million of us here, but it's hard to make friends.
Oh my
you know?
God, yeah.
It's hard to find your people, someone who you can trust, you know?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And for me, I'm a person, I'm from the South, so I'm from Mississippi. So I need to trust you to play music with you, you know? We gotta be friends. Like I can't, which is not the case for some people. So I just kind of want you to talk about that, like the ability to open up and be that vulnerable with another human being.
Yeah. It's really hard. In New York, it's harder, I think, than most places probably. And I don't know. I only know Philly other than New York. And Philly was like where I went to school and where I developed some of like my deepest friendships. So like that's not really kind of like an adult relationship with that city. Like I built trust with people out of necessity and experience. Like, we were children and it was great. But yeah, you get here and it's like there's a million people and you're like or at least I was like a young girl and very easily like brushed over, or just, that's not the word. It's just hard physically to show up in New York when you're a young girl. And I know it's also hard as a man, but or anywhere on the spectrum in between. But I think I had my guard up for a while of just like, I don't trust any of these motherfuckers. Sorry if I don't know if we're allowed to swear on this.
Y'all, you can do whatever you want. Be yourself. It's fine.
Okay. But yeah, I think it takes time, and there's just so many different things happening in this city, like so many different kinds of music, and even within a kind of music, so many different ways that you can express that. And I knew like, I don't know, 10 people when I came here, and it took a while to like get on my feet and figure out who my people were. But I got lucky that like some people took a chance on me too. Like Willem, for instance, like met me one time and he was just like, okay, we're going to give you a shot. And I was like, oh my God, thank God. Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got lucky in that way. But yeah, building trust is like, it takes time. And I think it's, it feels really hard when you don't have it. You know, like, yeah, it was really hard for me to make music in the beginning. When I moved here, I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't know how to express what's missing, you know? And then little by little, those things started to come together, and I also started to have more of an idea of like where I fit in the whole thing. Still figuring that out. Obviously, it's an ever evolving thing, and I don't think I'll ever want to just be one thing in one place. So yeah, does that answer your question?
Yeah, no,
I
that
think I'm
answers
rambling.
no, that answers my question. And I like that you don't want to be one thing in one place. And I know that for a fact because it's funny because it threw me for a loop. I heard you first with Will on some recordings, some bootlegs, because it's funny, we never played with Will together, but I heard you.
Yeah.
And so I had an idea. I was like, oh, okay, she do this kind of thing. And then when you sent your music, I was like, oh, wait a minute.
What's that?
And you know, and I was like, that's why I asked you the question earlier, like, what do you call your music? Because it's not easily described. I mean, other than killing, other than amazing and great.
Yeah.
You know? And I find that that's a similar trait with vocalists, and especially in New York, you know, because even Jeanette, like, you know, I can hear Jeanette playing some straight up hip hop, gospel, funk stuff, and then come swing your ass in the ground. You just like, wait a minute, this is not normal. What?
Yeah.
You know? And so
Not normal.
yeah, you guys share that ability, you know. And but yeah, you answer my question. What you got, Jeanette? You about to say something?
So yeah, we that kind of segues into what you're doing for this new record that you're writing, because the snippet that we heard, it's really wild how people come together and people come into your life even just for a podcast and such, because what I found was in 2019 I decided to let go of my band. Like, I had a band for 10 years, Jeanette Barry and the Soul Nerds. It was my identity as a musician. And then I said, none of my people except for Anwar live in New York. So they all still lived in Philly. And I was like, this is crazy. I want to start playing music with other people. And so we're going to disband. And then the first thing that I did a little EP in 2019. And what happened was, it was all the music that I didn't think I could do with that band, but it didn't sound anything like that band. And people were kind of like, what? And then I just put out another thing, and like some of the songs on there, people were like, this sounds really country, like you were down in Charlotte for too long, or this sounds like super singer songwriting, like I'd put this with Brandy Carlisle. And I'm like, Well, yeah, because I listen to a lot of shit and I'm a singer and a writer. I'm not
Yeah.
just a jazz singer and a jazz writer. So I'm really intrigued. All that to say, I'm really intrigued by where you are now writing this record and what you want to give to people with it.
Yeah, well, I guess this whole thing, and it's still in the baby phase, like it's being it's in the womb, um, but it kind of emerged out of the pandemic of like being alone in my room and being like, I still want to make music. What am I doing? And I just gravitated more to the guitar, and a lot of the music that I was listening to had guitar in it. Like I also love country music, and I got a little obsessed with that this pandemic, this time around. Yeah, and so it emerged out of necessity, I would say. Like I, I obviously did some remote recordings on, like weird mashup YouTube stuff, and that was really great, but it only feeds you so much. And I just felt the need to connect to myself and to like figure out how to build it from the bottom up. Yeah, so I was feeling, honestly, I was feeling like a little stuck, and like how do I keep like finding the motivation to create even when the world is like really messed up and everything is telling me not to. So I signed myself up for a songwriting course, which is kind of silly, but it was just like, just do it so that you have deadlines, because whatever they're going to tell you, that's cool, but like what you need is a reason to finish something.
Yeah.
And it super helped, and then it kind of opened up a whole new thing for me. It was just like I got a couple songs out of that, and then I just couldn't stop, which is really great, because writing for me in the past was always like it would take me a year to finish a song, and now I have more confidence in it, and I like kind of need it in a way. Like I feel very at peace at the guitar in a way that I don't in other aspects of my life.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I got lucky. I don't know. I don't know. I feel very grateful that it's a part of my life now, because I think it gives me a lot of comfort just to connect to something that way.
Yeah, the crazy thing about the pandemic, I think for all artists, as we talk to people, and Jeanette can attest to this too, is that we need a reason to create. Like like I think before, even for me, I was I do this for me, like it makes me happy.
Yeah.
But the people, they feed you, they recharge you, and so you're just like, okay, I'm gonna do this again tomorrow night because that lady in the front, she was vibing,
Yeah.
and without that, it was kind of empty, just to play for yourself in the dark.
And there was like momentum before, and it's starting to happen again, where it's just like, okay, you go from one gig to the next, and like each one inspires a different thing and like demands something different of you, whether it's like the logistics of it or the actual music of it. And without that, it just honestly, it felt stupid to be vocalizing like all the time, or to be singing in my apartment, like when my neighbors were just like, can you please, we're just trying to make it through the winter,
Right.
But yeah, the reason is I think that's universal though, like even like pandemic notwithstanding, like nothing happens just because you want it to, like it happens because you need it to. And like yeah, I'm just learning the power of deadlines.
That's real.
Yeah, very hard to manage on your own, but like essential.
Absolutely. Look, man, why don't we play this next tune? And okay. It's called Sister, right?
Yeah, and this is a demo, so like just
don't judge, just listen to the damn song, y'all.
Okay.
I'm going off for my audience, so y'all just listen to this
right.
song. The funny thing, I'll say this and then we'll play this tune. Y'all remember that song? You ever seen The Color Purple?
Yes.
You gotta watch The Color
Sorry.
Purple because she sing. Remember, she's like sister.
That's exactly what I thought when she said it. I was like, does she know that song?
Yeah, you gotta check The Color Purple out. It's kind of iconic. Yeah, but anyway, here we go, sister, y'all.
Sister, it should come as no surprise. All that good advice sitting on ice. Brother, oh, where have you been? Always sleeping in. Lord bless the things that time outgrew. The sky was green.
And we can't play too much of that because that ain't released.
Man.
It ain't released. They got a whole vibe on it right there, man.
Man.
They got that's my
thank you.
that's my personal shit.
Wow.
Right there. I'm not even.
Oh, thank you.
I have a question. What, and I don't want to, I don't want you to talk super long, but I have a theory now and I want to see if this is true. What brought you to Philadelphia?
I think Terrell Stafford did.
Yeah,
Long story
that's
short,
fair.
but he came to our high school and he was close. Him and Dick Oates, both of them actually, equally, had a tight relationship with the band director at my high school, and my band director was just like, I was actually thinking about doing pre-med, and I was like, I don't know, and my band director was like, if you're gonna do this, you have to do it, and if you're gonna do it, you should go to Temple. And I was like, okay. Yeah, it was
That's
obviously more agonizing than that of a decision, but
Sure.
yeah, does that, what question, what answer were you looking for?
Not, I wasn't looking for an answer, but it kind of, I think it feeds into it because I think a certain person leaves the tri-state area and goes to Philadelphia for school.
Mhm.
And that brings people that don't just play jazz that go to jazz school.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the people that I love in Philly, yeah, we all went to jazz school, but actually I didn't start in jazz school. I started musical theater and then moved over to jazz.
Wow. Cool.
But people don't just play jazz, and it's a great city not just to play jazz.
Mhm.
I mean, it's a huge Black American music city, but then you can do gigs in South Jersey that you would never know that you would be singing that, or things, all these different types of music come together in Philadelphia, but also all these different types of musicians come together
Yeah.
in Philadelphia that don't just play jazz. And so that feels very much like all the people that I respect that come out of Philly, whether it be their hometown or just where they went to school. So
Yeah. No, for sure. I think it also offers an opportunity for all of those different types of musicians to cohabitate,
yeah.
Like I think in New York, people are in their own zones a little bit more. Maybe that's just the nature of living in a smaller city. Like there's fewer people to work with. So you end up seeing people around more often, and also
Yeah.
like developing relationships with those people and being like, yeah, let's play.
Yeah. But let's
It's
not
also
just
easier
play
to
jazz.
get to
Let's
each other's
play.
houses.
Yes. That is also fair.
Yeah.
Also fair.
Yeah.
Do you know Sean Cronin?
Very good, right?
Yeah.
That's his band name.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know him personally, but I actually split a bill with him once playing. Do you guys know who John Singer is?
Yeah.
Jonathan Singer. Yeah, I was singing in his band, the Xylofolks, which is
Ah.
one of the
Nice.
best kept secrets, I think, in New York. It's not even a secret, but it's one of the best things about New York because it's ridiculous.
It is
Everyone
ridiculous.
wears animal costumes.
Yeah.
I got to be the panda bear, and
Love
he
it.
plays the shit out of the xylophone. Like,
Okay,
he's
so-
insane.
Yeah, it's so I saw the first time I saw that guy, he was playing at Bria Skomberg's wedding, and I just I sat there and just was like, what the fuck, like this is crazy. Wait, first of all, he's a bear. Anyway, that's another
Yeah.
time.
Right.
But anyway, that guy is killing. I think that you and Sean you guys should make music together
Yeah.
because and also just on another thing, just while I'm thinking about it, have you ever heard Mississippi John Hurt?
Oh yeah,
All right, I knew it.
yeah.
I fucking
Lay
knew
me
it,
a
man.
pallet on your floor, right? That
Come on now.
yeah. Or no,
I
wait.
already know. This interview is over. Yeah, he did that.
He did that one.
This
What's the
interview
one
is
that
over.
I love? Oh, you gotta walk that lonesome valley. Is that the one?
Is it?
You gotta walk it by yourself. I think that's John Hurt.
Okay. He's
he's
got
amazing.
so much mute. Like, man, wow. Like, I knew it, man. See,
Yeah, I
See-
mean that. I think that was one of the things that I bonded initially with Jackson, the guitar player that you guys saw, about was just like old blues music and like just that like really deep,
Yeah.
like pain and kind of like spooky music.
Yeah.
And there's something very spooky about like Sun House and stuff like that, where it's just like it really gets the goose pimples going.
Truth, honesty,
Yep.
sincerity.
Yeah, and I
know?
think there's some weird hookup there in my brain with like that and just like the Byzantine music growing up, where it's just like that kind of ancient feeling, like universal pain, if that makes sense.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's, it's that human experience, and as we were getting on the call, we were kind of talking about that. Like as we get older, we're experiencing the fullness of life on both ends, and especially right now going through the pandemic. I don't think anybody has ever experienced so much loss in this short. I know I haven't, and so it makes you. I was just talking to friends. I think I'm a better, different person. Like, I'm nicer. The sound man mess up my sound. Oh, I'm good. Okay, no worries, man. I'm not gonna,
Right.
Like you hug all your friends a little bit longer.
Yep.
Everything is changing, and we're not taking the breath that we breathe for granted. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And
Yeah. I think on the other side of that too, it's like growing up a little bit and being like, yeah, I'm not gonna stand for the stuff that I don't like anymore. Like
Yep.
being a more honest and responsible person as far as like I say this word all the time, but like setting boundaries around what you feel good about, because that makes you ultimately a more compassionate person when you're able to like meet someone like really where you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do these days, is just like be more honest and like meet my own needs, because I think just like meeting other people's needs is often easier personally. But that inherently is like a selfish act, I think, because it's just like you want to be the person that people like. I don't know.
Yeah.
let me get on my couch. I'm like, Jeanette, we are in therapy now. That's what I'm talking about. I love it. I love it. Go ahead,
sorry,
Jeanette. I know you got
Right.
something.
No.
No. You got something, Jeanette. Go ahead. What is it?
It's no. I just I'm grateful that folks are feeling more that way. It's a strange confluence though, because you get people that aren't doing it but that are ingesting it, that might take it for granted again, which is a problem I've been having in the past 6 months, is seeing audiences want something so badly that they treat it badly when they don't get it the way they want it. And that's hard to watch. And it's not just happened in music, but like even looking at sports. Like, I don't know if y'all watch basketball. Well, Darrian, I know you watch basketball, but when people were throwing stuff at Russell Westbrook, like when they were throwing things at players because they just didn't like it, and then you have audience members and people that still don't want to pay for music and are, rude. Like, of course, they're amazing audiences. I've had amazing audiences in the couple gigs that I've had since everything's opened back up. But I've heard experiences where people are just shitty, and it's like, as human beings and as creators of something, I think it is our job, kind of in a divine sense, to bring out the best in humanity while also giving it a mirror, or showing itself, showing showing humanity itself through a creation that maybe isn't us personally, but what we create. And I just hope that people will, because I don't know, living on Long Island, nobody seems to be nicer. um, Everybody's just as shitty as they were, maybe even more. So
I
I
know.
hope that with the gifts that we have to bring and with the awareness that many people that do create are bringing, that shines brighter and
Yeah.
brighter as we go through and as we continue to journey through all of this loss.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
absolutely.
isolation breeds so much pain and
Yep.
just not good stuff. Like
Yep.
all of the people acting shittier, like you said, than they were. I mean, that happens when people are isolated and they're not pushed to try other things or to you
Yeah.
know deal with other people, and then they come back to the world and they're just like, oh right, you know.
Yeah, like,
Right.
hey,
Yeah.
other humans.
Yeah.
But that's why it is important, like you said, to set boundaries, because then you're not pouring from an empty cup and you're being able to be, the best part of somebody that they see,
Yeah.
right? Because I think we are all mirrors to whatever it is we're giving out. And if you can be a mirror to the best parts of somebody, that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's what I
want
want to do with music.
Gems. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Like that's
And
it.
I think honestly the songs that I've been able to write over the course of this year or whatever, like they happened because I had the time to fill my cup, like you said. Like I wasn't grinding to like the bone, and I wasn't like commuting all over the planet and figuring out ways to make money. Like I had a little less money, but I had the time to like nurture myself and nurture my inner artist. And that is super powerful, and we all need that. It's hard to factor it in.
Yeah.
Listen, y'all, we coming here to the end, which is so sad because I've had such a great time hanging out with Alexa tonight and Jeanette.
It's been wonderful.
Let's
You
go
guys
have a
are-
drink sometime.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's
Let's
do
do it. Let's do it. It's on. It's on. It's a date. So listen, Alexa, thank you so much for coming on the Working Artist
Oh my
Project.
gosh, so much. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Before we go, I definitely want to give you an opportunity to, shout out all of your stuff where people can buy your book on how to set boundaries. Because
No, I don't have one of those. I'm very bad at it. I'm talking about it because I'm trying.
okay. But y'all keep y'all ears out for the new record and tell people how to connect with you and where they can DM you and all that stuff.
Yeah. Well, you can find me on Instagram. Instagram is my favorite. My name on there is Alexa Aphrodite. And my profile picture has a lot of kissy faces on it, so that's good. But Aphrodite with an F. I know there's a lot of confusion about my name and the spelling, but maybe you can put that in the link or something.
Yep. I'll put that in the show notes. Absolutely.
Yeah. And you can find my videos and links on my website, which is myname.com. And keep an eye out for my record in the fall, and also for the gigs that we're going to be playing to play this music, which are TBD, but stay tuned.
Yay.
All right.
I'm working on them.
So Alexa Barchini,
Yes.
and I guess it's just alexabarchini.com.
Yes.
And so y'all check it out and buy all her stuff and write her a message on all the social platforms about that book, because that book need to come out. That's
Right.
all I'm saying.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. My name is Darrian
right.
Douglas.
And I'm Jeanette Barry.
We'll catch y'all later. Peace.